Hey, good day, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, um, depending on wherever you're joining us from. It's good to have you join us on today's edition of Talent Talk. Um, Talent Talk, it's a webinar, it's an online webinar where we get to have some tech experts to discuss with us on certain topics in the tech industry. Just like we all know, at Talent Factory, we are on a journey to grow ourselves, to become better, to be experts, to be professionals in the tech ecosystem. We are building ourselves, we are building our skills to be uh, experts, basically. And we'll be having series of discussions on certain topics. We have previously invited some gurus, some experts in the tech industry who have given us talks on certain topics, and we learned a lot. And today's session is not going to be an exception. We have two experts, professionals, tech professionals in the room who will be giving us a talk on the most competitive tech skills for 2025. We're in a new year, we're in 2025, and it's important for us to know the tech trends, what is in, in demand, and where we can focus even as we get to develop our skills, right? And that is what Talent Factory, as a platform, as an organization, is doing, helping us to develop our skills. So this session today, we are going to be discussing the most important, the most competitive tech skills for 2025 and staying ahead in a rapidly evolving industry, how we can ensure that our skills are in, we stay up to date with the current trends that are happening in tech. So we have two guest speakers in the house. We have Johnny Abija, and we also have John Lawa, who will be taking us through this journey in today's episode of the Talent Talk. So the first presenter is Johnny Abija. Johnny Abija is a senior software engineer who has a lot of years of experience. He has worked on several projects and as well as worked with different companies. So Johnny can come up. So Johnny will give us a brief introduction of himself, and then he will continue from there.
All
Hi,
right.
Johnny.
Hi, Lawrence. Good afternoon. Good evening. It's quite, I'm
Yeah, good.
confusing the timeline. So, good evening. How is it over at your end today?
Yeah, fine, fine. Doing well.
All right. So, the floor is mine, right?
Yeah, you can go on.
Oh, cool. Good evening, wherever you're watching this from. My name is Johnny Abija, and like Iraspoli said, I'm a senior software engineer. I've been in this industry for quite a number of years now, more than a decade. I think if I want to go by the numbers, December of this year will make it 13 years in the industry of software engineering, basically. So, I'll be starting off on today's segment of Talent Talk. We are going to be diving into the topic of most competitive tech skill to learn in 2025, right? I will quickly go over to the slides and have you journey with me. I prepared a little bit of material that we're going to look into before Mr. John Lawan, my able colleague, take over from where I stop, all right? But before then, I would really like to share a very quick story. Not a story per se, but a lesson learned by me. Uh, Competitiveness is something that you really cannot take out from the tech industry. It's something that it's always there, right? It's something that is a driving force in the industry for us. And it's always good to have one skill that you have in your pocket to hit up or to be ahead in the game, if I'll put it that way. Back to 5 years ago, 2020, pre-corona, before corona, before the COVID-19 lockdown and everything, I was still an undergrad by that particular time. I was studying computer science. I think I was doing my internship, 300 level internship. So it's a program in Nigeria where once you're in 300 level, in a certain course, you have to do internship at an organization pertaining what you study, right? So I was doing the internship at this tech firm, and it's more like a community. Shout out to Collab, uh, House of Legend, yeah, Collab Kaduna. So it's like a tech workspace and a co-working area. It's just like a tech ecosystem where they breed engineers and startups, spring up from there. I'm actually a proud alumni of that particular place. Still an active member of Collab Kaduna. So I was doing my 300 level internship there, and you are mandated to learn something. Even though I was already in the web design field for close to a decade by then, I was still compelled to learn something. So I decided to go with data science, right? I decided to take on data science, but I was the most unserious student of the data science class. Anytime they were taking that course, we were doing any lectures, I was busy coding and fulfilling one job or the other, trying to do one task or the other. And that went by real quick. A lot of my colleagues that took data science are now big in the data industry. Like, they are huge. They are big names in the data science industry. But then I think the only thing I can do right now is to open my Jupyter notebook and just do one or two few lines of data science, of data cleaning, or to present data in a very nice format. That's just it. But then they can do data modeling, data engineering, a lot of things. So you see that I shot myself in the leg there by not joining the competition or picking up on competition, right? Another mistake I made still that year after that was after the internship, I still retained my like I said, I'm still a member of that organization up to this day. So after my 300 level internship, I was still actively involved with that community. And then that was when the trend of crypto started springing out. So we as developers, we bought a lot of courses. We were all in the idea of, okay, we want to be blockchain developers. We got a lot of course. We started learning Solidity and their likes. I know a lot of these words I'm putting out there may be a bit too big for you, or you may not have any knowledge of it, but not to worry. We are going to, share a little bit about that in the slide, which I'm going to share in a minute. All right. So crypto development, blockchain development rather, was something I was supposed to pick up on. Started learning Solidity, learning the basis of blockchain and everything, but I still was not consistent with it. 2020, I just always fall back to what I'm comfortable with. But then I'm happy and I'm proud to have corrected that mistake 2024. It took me 4 years. So 2024, last year, I took up seriously the skill of blockchain development. I joined a cohort that is being done by that same corporation that I'm part of, and I graduated, and I'm currently taking my blockchain development journey seriously. So I just want to put that out there. It's one of my biggest mistakes as someone in this industry, and one thing that I wouldn't want you to jump or to be a victim of. So that's also why I just want to put that out there first before I jump to what we have to do today. So thank you very much, and let's journey into our slides for the day. All right. So most competitive tech skills in 2025. Seriously, don't mind the design. I really did this in a bit of a rush, so I didn't have time to make it so beautiful and everything, but it's the content. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. All right. Here is a simple truth for you. There is a job out there right now for every possible skill you can think of, right? If it could be anything, there is actually a job. Somebody is looking for somebody that could do that particular thing for him. There is actually a job for every single skill you can think of out there. But the chances of getting the job or building a career around that skill has become difficult in recent times. It's one thing to get a gig, it's another thing to get a gig consistently, right? It's one thing to get a job. In the tech field, we don't call them jobs, but we call them gigs. So it's one thing to get a job. It's another thing to get that job repeatedly, right? Learning the right high demand and competitive tech skill is crucial and gives you an edge in the blood-soaked tech market. Right. It's like an abattoir out here. You have to, put in not just your skill, it's one part of it. You have to, put in your sweat, your blood. You have to literally fight for those jobs that are there, the high demand and the high paying jobs. You have to really put in a lot of, you have to put in a lot of flesh. to actually get your hands on those particular jobs that are available for you out there. So you may be wondering, why will somebody choose tech in 2025? I think there's actually nobody wondering why tech in 2025, because if you're actually wondering why tech in 2025, then I think something is fundamentally wrong, honestly. Everybody is thinking, why not tech, right? So, but here is just me bringing out that, okay, why tech? Let me just clear that out of the way. Learning tech, learning a tech skill in 2025 ensure you are equipped to thrive in the rapidly evolving digital economy we find ourselves in today. It increases your chances of getting a job and also offers you job security. And it also opens door to the high-paying, innovative roles in industry driving the future. Yeah, tech is the future. Tech is the now. Tech is the present. Tech is the future. And also, you position yourself perfectly for the current and next big revolution. We have the agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, amongst other things. We are now in the tech revolution. We are in the AI revolution, and we are also going to go to the next super AI revolution, and it continues from there. As well as, it's also gives you a standing point. It also gives your feet a landing point in this knowledge and skill economy that we currently operate, because the world revolves around what can you offer and what can you do right now. So we are just going to go real deep into what are those particular competitive high skills that you should learn in 2025. And among that list, this list will never be complete without this. That is why I'm putting it at number 1, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yes, like I rightfully said before, artificial intelligence is the future. We are literally at the AI revolutionary age, and we are moving from that to super artificially intelligent age, basically. So artificial intelligence and machine learning, that is a very, 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 very competitive, high in demand skill that you should have in 2025. Everywhere we turn around, left, right, and center, it's AI, 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 AI. So what is this artificial intelligence machine learning that everybody is yapping about, or everybody is killing themselves over? Artificial intelligence and machine learning are essential in 2025 to drive automation. So artificial intelligence, AI, it's just all about efficiency. It's just all about high performing computers. It's just how about making computers smarter. It's just how about incorporating uh, humanity into machine, or bringing machine close to humanity, basically. That is just what all artificial intelligence and machine learning mostly is all about. So in 2025, everybody is looking is looking for ways to make everything easier, how to make business more seamless, how to make human interactions and computer interaction in a very, how to bring that to a very likely and to a very suiting fashion. So the artificial intelligence and machine learning are essential in 2025 to drive automation, enhance decision making, and they also in solving complex problems in industries. Majority of industries we have right now have generated a lot of data over time, and it's going to be not impossible, but quite hard, tedious, time-consuming, and of course, cost inefficient to actually go by those particular calculations and those particular summary, just to summarize all those stuff and to actually make meaning of those things. Doing them manually would just be catastrophic. So that is why we need artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us with most of those stuff. Even at that, we still need machine learning to, take care of what is to come. So machine learning is all about teaching machine how to operate, or teaching machine how to act or perform on some particular input. So in the future, it's going to act autonomously on its own. It doesn't need that human interaction no more, basically. Now, the skills that you can learn in artificial intelligence and machine learning are numerous, but some of those skills that are quite fundamental, right, involves artificial machine learning models. Now, machine learning models are just simply creating models that a machine will learn and work upon. Also, AI frameworks, data pre-processing and visualization tool, how to display data, how to visualize data, and then ethics in AI. Ethics in AI simply is just, we have ethics in almost everything. So what are the ethics in AI? What are those things that AI should be able to do and what should never do, and how to make AI not kill all of us in a way? I'm putting air quotes. All right. So the next one is really Data science and analysis and analytics, like I mentioned earlier, I was supposed to learn this skill some few years ago, but I slept on it. And today, all those people in the class are top data scientists in their field, right? So data science and analysis is quite simple. It's sorry for that use of term. Nothing is really simple in tech. So it's quite easy and self-explanatory. So in 2025, data science and analytics is essential for turning vast amount of data into actionable insights, driving smarter decisions, optimizing operations, and unlocking innovations across industry in an increasingly data-driven world. Right. So how does this all make sense, and how are you going to turn this to your tech skill in 2025? Simple. We used to be comfortable using 100 MB a day or 200 MB a day. It now migrated to 1 gig a day. As a person, I normally spend close to 30 gig every single day of data, right? So the world is changing, and we consume a lot of data, and we produce a lot of data, and we have a ton of data piled up. So we will need people that will make sense of this data, and those particular insights that they are going to produce from those data helps us in acting, in making decisions, in executing business properly, amongst other things. So that is the jobs of data scientists and data analysts, basically. And the skills you can learn from this involve SQLs for writing queries. This is mostly around tooling. So SQL is like a programming language that allows you to efficiently query databases. So it's actually a skill that you could easily pick up, and you could be querying database to bring reasonable output from those databases, make sense of those huge data chunks, and yeah, it's pretty in demand. We have data wrangling and visualization. If if someone has a long Excel file of 300 pages, 400 pages, they can go through, read, and check, okay, or mark one by one, who is male, who is female, who is above 30, who is not up to 30, and the rest of the, and the likes. But as a data visualizer, you can easily write programs that will use charts and graphs and pie charts, donut charts, amongst other things, to easily visualize those data, making sense to them, giving meaning to them, giving them accurate, okay, this percent is male, this percent is female, and their likes. Then cloud platforms like AWS, Google BigQuery. So this involves cloud operations. We have a lot of platforms that allows for hosting this large data. And if you learn how to use those platforms, organizations will pay you really well to actually handle their operations on those platforms. All right, cloud computing. Cloud computing, as the world evolves, as the world go to the next revolution, we look for faster solutions, for more efficient solutions, and for more smarter way of handling data, and how to execute our operations more seamlessly and with more security, and having everything in check. So, excuse me. Cloud computing is essential in 2025 because it is powering scalability. I just gave an instance of how much data we've gone, how much data spending has increased over the years. So those data are saved somewhere. We cannot be saving them on on storages or on servers that are no more efficient. So that is where cloud computing come in play. Cloud computing just helps to scale up everything and accommodate for all our terabytes and petabytes and zettabytes of data operations per day, right? It is cost efficient, it powers scalability, and it enables business to innovate. It enables business to try new things, because now you have data storage that can accommodate for all your experiments, amongst other things. Also, it also supports remote works, and it is heavily utilized and leveraged by AI and by AI IoTs to operate seamlessly across the group. You can learn skills like how to use platforms like Azure, Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, Google's cloud platform, GCP. And also you could learn Dockerization, Docker, Kubernetes for containering. These are all just how platforms are hosted on the cloud, and how best it is to handle hosting of those platforms or those apps or those programs on seamlessly in 2025, all right? And then also you could learn cloud native application development. We've moved from normal native to cloud native now. Cybersecurity. In 2025, this was a skill that I personally picked interest in after my internship. Sorry, I'm debating. I just want to share this real quick. I had an opportunity to jump on Cisco certification program for cybersecurity, introduction to cybersecurity in 2021, and I did it. It's in partnership with Foodmena. I paid for the registration. I did it. I went through the whole 3 months program, I think. I wrote the exams. It was signed and certified by Cisco. So I can proudly say I have a certificate by Cisco in cybersecurity. Why did I actually go through that journey? It is just for me to have an additional advantage and also to have more knowledge on how the internet works, how the internet can be used in the bad way, and how to stop them from using the internet in a bad way. As a software engineer, I create softwares for a living. I wouldn't want any of my software to be hacked. So it is just always good, like I said, to have one additional advantage over your peers in the industry. So you watching this, you could be comfortable with the skill that you have, but it is never enough to have one skill. I just told you how I invested my time, energy, resources, and efforts to learn at least to a basic to an intermediate level blockchain development in 2024. And also, I'm telling you now how I invested my time, energy, resources, and effort to learn cybersecurity, to just take up an introductory level cybersecurity course by Cisco in 2021. Just all those just to just add to what I already have been doing over the years. And I'm still going to learn more, and I'm going to learn more and more and more. All right, that is just all about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is essential to protect critical systems, data, and individual from increasingly sophisticated cyber threats, ensuring trust, privacy, and resilience in a hyper-connected digital world. And then what you can learn from here, you could learn cryptography, you could learn network security, you could learn ethical hacking and pen testing, vulnerability testing, amongst other things. Those are all under the cybersecurity. Another one is blockchain technology. Blockchain technology in 2025 is essential for secure, transparent, and decentralized system, enabling trust in digital transactions, protecting data integrity, and powering innovations like smart contracts, decentralized finance, DeFi's, that is, and supply chain traceability. Blockchain is an amazing technology. Take it from me. Blockchain is the future. It is where everything is going to. It is where all of us are moving towards. And that powered with Web3, it's a powerful, 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 powerful tool. So blockchain technology simply is creating, is working, it's advancing what we have on our today's world, or on Web2 rather. It is advancing what we have on the basic internet of today. In the basic internet of today, you could get hacked, your data are not secure. There is always an admin in a way where an admin can see your details among other things. But in blockchain technology, we try to make the system open for all, but close for none. And also in a way, no, data are not central. Data are spread across. So there is literally no central point to which data can be located. So it is just an amazing technology, very well thought out and very, very efficient. It offers what it says. It guarantees what it actually is defined on this slide right now. And then you could easily learn skills like smart contract development, which is what I specialized on, understanding consensus, algorithm, building decentralized application, or dApps. Yeah. There are just a lot of skills. I would really want to focus more on this blockchain. And no, it's not because it's just what I actually learned. It's just because it's something that I find really fascinating and amazing, right? There are a whole lot of other skills that you could pick up on blockchain technology. And you don't have to be a technical person. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to be a tech. You don't have to be in tech or any of that, right? With the blockchain technology, a lot of protocols are coming out. A lot of blockchains are rolling out every day. You could easily go online and search for those blockchains and those protocols, learn about them, join their community, and contribute actively, be active on their community. You could contribute as a writer, you are writing on their documentations, or you are writing on their blog posts, or you are writing on their Twitter feeds, or you could become a moderator or a community manager on their Discord channel, or on their Telegram, on their Facebook page. that's just your job. And then you can easily be making, you actually are going to be getting paid for that service, as well as you'll be learning how the blockchain work in a whole, and how that particular blockchain that you are working with is trying to solve one problem or the other. And by so doing, you are not just earning, but you are learning, and you are elevating yourself in the tech field as well. So that is just something that we really love you to look at and look out for. Oh, well, here we go. Home, software development and DevOps. Now, this is where I'll spend the better part of my, yes, almost half of my adult life. No, half of my whole life, adult life. Half of my whole life, I've spent it here in software development. And software development is simply creating and writing powerful softwares that will change the world. Like the software you and I are using today, YouTube or WhatsApp or Facebook, software development. And DevOps, software development and DevOps. DevOps is simply hosting that software, putting it up online, and making sure it runs 24 hours, and making sure it runs efficiently, not just having it online, but making sure it runs efficiently, it runs fast. It doesn't stop working, it doesn't crash, it doesn't do any of that. So that's the software development and DevOps. And that is what I specialize on mostly, and that's what I do now, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow as well. So what you can learn in DevOps, you could learn a lot of things. You could learn programming. There are a lot of programming languages out there that are used for different stuff: game development, desktop development, mobile app development, web development, embedded systems, amongst other things. You could easily pick up any programming language and learn, or you could learn Git or version control. It's just a way of controlling software versions in a way. Or you can learn CI/CD deployment, pipeline and deployment. That's the DevOps. That's where DevOps comes in. Once the programmers or the developers are done creating those websites or those softwares, you as a DevOps engineer should be able to deploy them on their server, set up the servers, deploy those softwares, and have them function well and properly without having any hitch or any error per se. So that is software development. And I wish I could just spend the whole day talking about this. Well, I can't. All right. AR and VR and extended reality. You have AR, VR, XR. AR is augmented reality, VR is virtual reality, and extended reality. Basically, all those goggles that you wear and you be in one wall and you be shooting or you be boxing, and monster, are you boxing, visual wall, and all that. So AR and VR, all those things are actually created by people, right? Not the Google, I mean those visual worlds that you enter, those realities that is being extended or is being visualized or is being augmented to you, is being created by people like me, myself, and you. And that is a skill that is in high demand right now. There are AR or VRs or XRs even that allow you to do tourism from where you are. So right now, I could just put on a Google, and I will see the full Eiffel Tower in Paris or Statue of Liberty in New York. I could explore the whole thing. It's as if I'm there, right? So I could pay. If I don't have money to pay for a flight ticket to go there, I could get the Goku, put it, and I will literally have the feeling of being there, see everything. The only difference is I can't just touch it, but aside that, I can do it. I can do and see and visualize literally everything. And another way this can be applied is, say you want to rent a house. Showing you pictures of a house on the phone or on the laptop is not enough. Imagine you putting on our glasses and it just shows you as if you're walking into the house with the full length. You could walk 10 steps, you see everything, the length, the kitchen, the corridor, the everything. You could easily walk into it virtually in an augmented space or in an extended reality. So that is what augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality encapsulates. And there are platforms like Unreal Engine and Unity that allows you to design most of those models. There is particle computing and 3D modeling. Most of those stuffs are 3D, right? They are 3D rendered. So you could learn how to do 3D modeling. Your own cannot be, you might not do the whole stuff. You could just learn a little part of it and contribute your quota to a larger team. And you can you actually be in the high competitive market of tech, because I don't think I have any friend that does this. So if you can do this, then you're going to be one of my friends. And If I have somebody saying, I need somebody to do that, it's going to be you. I'm going to recommend. I don't think there are a lot of people doing this, but it's something that the whole world is going into. Somebody like Mark Zuckerberg invested a lot of billions into it in Meta, right? For this. So it's a whole lot of money being washed down here. All right, low code and no code platform. I hate to put this on this list, but I just have to admit, right? I just have to admit, it it's blowing. So you don't have to be the boring guy like myself writing quotes, writing numbers, characters, and things I don't even understand half of what they are all the time. You don't have to actually do that. Right now, you could easily go on platforms and just drag and drop. Oh, I want a website that has a landing page. I want a website that has an about section, a contact page, and whatever. You can just go to platform, just drag, click here, drag, drop, click here, drag, drop. It's literally easy. Like you could just drag a component like this and drop it, drag and drop, like just drag, drop. It is just, sorry, it is just you taking up what you want, drag it and drop it, drag it and drop. So it's literally easy. You don't have to go the complicated route of doing all the coding, spending hours breaking your back and spraining your eyes and that. But it is where the future is, and it is a competitive skill in 2025. People that want to build fast, people that want to, something really simple. You don't want to hire a whole team to take 2 weeks discussing, okay, you want to do it, you just want to build really fast and get it going. It is that particular thing, and it is moving. All right, I duplicated that. So I think that is just about it. There are just a whole lot that we cannot go through. The little we spend time discussing about is even too is time consuming already. There are just a lot, but then these are just what we could encapsulate and bring up at this particular point. So in conclusion, just like we go through life with no guarantee, you are certainly not guaranteed anything, but at the same time, you are actually guaranteed everything. All right. I don't know if you can see my screen. Mr.
Yeah, we can.
Lawrence? Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
can see.
All right. So am I on this conclusion page? Okay, nice. I don't think I'm in the conclusion, am I?
You were, but you just moved away now.
All right. Let me bring it back. I'm there, right?
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, we are not guaranteed anything in this, but then at the same time, we stand to get everything if we put the discipline and resources it takes to learn and master a competitive tech skill. Trust me, I can almost guarantee you that it will definitely change your life as it did mine. I know where I would have been without tech. Tech literally changed my life. Tech is my life. It didn't just change my life. It's literally my life right now. And I wouldn't trade for anything right now. You know what? We've spent a lot of times already, so I'd love to continue this session. And Mr. Lawrence, please, 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 I'd love to come back again. It's really lovely. I really do appreciate this. And a big thank you to all of you for stopping by. I'm going to yield the mic to my next cohort because we have already spent too much time already. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Johnny. It's good to have you. It's good to have you join us. And to take this session. We learned a lot from that session, going over the list of tech skills that we have available. We know there are a lot of persons who want to get into tech, but they are wondering what skill to learn, what to learn. There's so much noise about tech, and that is the reason why we organize this session today to be able to talk about the available tech skills. And I believe that we have learned just of summary and a way of summarizing what he said, just to highlight the various skills that he mentioned. We have artificial intelligence, we have data science, analytics, we have cloud computing, we have cybersecurity, we have blockchain engineering, we have software development and DevOps, we have AR, VR, and extended reality. We have low code and no code platforms. So these are various skills that we can pick from. So if you want to get into tech, I believe that by joining this session, by joining this event, you have plans of getting into tech, learning a skill. It's important that you get to understand your interest, what you want to learn, And yeah, these are the list of the various skills that we have. And the tech industry keep evolving, so new things keep coming up. Back then, we didn't have things like cloud engineering or DevOps, right? Back then, if you develop a website, you could just host it by yourself. But as time went on, um, there became a need for something like cloud computing, people who specialize in ensuring that there's a smooth deployment. You're able, after you have written your code, you're able to smoothly deploy it um, without hitches, and also ensuring that the application is available at all times to serve users, right? And yeah, we have cloud computing. Today we have AI, and we have, because of AI, since AI has come, we have something called prompt engineering, which is a recent development. And it's something people are learning. Prompt engineering is about you be able to give prompts, or for instance, if you need an answer from ChatGPT, you need to be able to ask the question the right way. Let me put it that way. You should be able to ask the question the right way. And that's what prompt engineering is about. Being able to give certain input that will give the right answers, what you are looking for. Right. So ChatGPT, in as much as powerful as it is, if you don't give it the right input or the right prompt, you may not get the best answer. And that has become a field in tech as well, prompt engineering, just to add to the list. So yeah, tech keep evolving, new things keep coming, and it's important that we all keep up to date with the trends and know the skills that are in much demand, and where we can also, even as tech professionals, there are times where you want to learn new skills. There are times where you want to acquire new skills as well, right? So it's important that you keep up to date with this trend. All right, so we'll be heading into the next session, and the second presenter to take us is John Lawa. John, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, so you can take the floor. So you just tell us a bit about yourself, and then you continue.
Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. I believe you can see me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so yeah, it's good to be here, and I believe Mr. Johnny has done a very great job, and I will only be starting on what he has actually the foundation he had laid. So it's important that I introduce myself. I mean, this will be my first time on this space, and I really appreciate the opportunity given to be part of those who will be discussing on this space. And my name is John Lawal, just as rightly introduced, a data scientist and also a mathematician. I mean, I sometimes don't want to talk about my quest in mathematics so as not to scare people away or not to create that impression that, oh, this space is for people who had actually studied mathematics or who studied computer science, who are engineering clients. So it's just to not to scare you away. But I have, I'm currently working on my PhD, research in mathematics. And like I said earlier, I'd done several things in the data science field. And I can proudly say I'm a data scientist because I've also get into a lot of trainings and getting people to know how best to come into this space and also to help people find their footing in this space. And that's to tell you that I can as well call myself a data evangelist. So telling people about the importance of data. And let me stop at that because I can go on and on. So doing justice to what we have to do today, we're looking at, but I will be taking in just some minutes, staying ahead in a rapidly evolving industry. And I should be sharing my screen at this time. Okay. Uh, so I believe I can share my screen now, right? All right, right. So why that is very fixed.
Yes.
So staying ahead is, all right. Okay. All right. So staying ahead in a rapidly evolving industry is what I will be talking about in just a minute. And I'd like you to just go with me as I move on this journey with you. So it is very important that when we have an industry like this, and it the world evolved to this point, and the industry had actually continued to evolve, and that's speaking about the tech space. And there is actually a need to stay ahead at all times, because you don't want a situation whereby just in our common words, talking about grass growing under your feet. And because by the time you stay on something and you don't evolve, you definitely will not be able to catch up with the trend. So, and it will interest you to know, it will interest you to know that the pace of changing and the new reality. This was put out in 2017, and uh, it's a report that was done by Dell Technologies and the Institute for the Future. And it says 85% of jobs that will exist in 2030 hasn't been invented yet. And in 2017, it will be very funny to actually come by such a research to say, oh, jobs that will be done in 2030 are yet to be invented. And just when Mr. Johnny was speaking, he got you into spaces that, I mean, before now, we're not used to them. Augmented reality, virtual reality, and, we talk about prompt engineering not so long ago. So these are something that I mean, as a result of the space being, I mean, the evolving, the evolution we are experiencing in the space, a lot of jobs will be coming in. And a lot of people who are in the university at this time, we get into such space, and they will have to deal with that, because it is not, it will never going, it is never going to be business as usual, because this space will continue to evolve, and it is for us to actually move with it. And this caught my attention, and I believe I should start with this to say that we need to learn. And how do we then get into it? So the first thing is to understand why staying ahead matters. So why staying ahead matters? Because it matters simply just for us to know that, I mean, there is rapid evolution, and we can't mention that, I mean, enough. There is rapid evolution. Yeah, we could say COVID introduced it, and COVID made it more pronounced, but definitely we have come into the space. This is 2025, COVID 2020, 2020, 2021, but now we're in 2025, the reality we have to live. So the rapid evolution has actually brought us into the space of AI, and I mean, tools like ChatGPT, transforming the world. And, if if tools like ChatGPT hasn't done anything for us, I think they've done one, which is the prompt engineering and some other things that could actually build on it. Everyone could now have access to open source, and you could create your your what's it called, your tool like ChatGPT, just by you just getting into it. So these are evolution, and we need to adapt to them very quickly, and also the impact of falling behind. So and like I said, why staying ahead matters. And just before going out of the rapid evolution, I intentionally create this particular slide with gamma. And I believe a lot of us know what gamma is, and their mark is on the slide. And it's actually an AI tool for presentation. So I got my prompt together. I mean, I have my slides together, and I said, Gamma, please do something with this. I don't want to go into maybe something like Canva, or I mean, start running something on PowerPoint, and just do something for me. And it did come out with all of these features, and arranging the text for me and making it look this way. I mean, it's pretty cool. I love it, but I mean, it could have been better. But that is just to say that these are some of the things that is available for us, and why do we need to stay ahead in all of this? So the impact of feeling behind. So now, talk about you trying to create a slide, and two persons were given tasks. You need to create a slide almost immediately, and you've already generated your prompts. You've come out with your outline. You've come out with a point that you're going to be making, and one immediately running through a tool that is available, and the other is still battling with the conventional tool in building, and that is not too robust of creativity. And I always try to draw a balance between that. And what that means is that we should be aware that there is an impact of falling behind. And that is why staying ahead matters in all of this. And a very quick example that could come to mind. I mean, several could actually come to mind, and I don't want to mention all of those now, but imagine those blockbusters movies that we always see. They thought everybody will always come sit around a place and watch movies, but Netflix came, transform the whole space, make it digital. You could come from the comfort of your home, just subscribe, and before you know it, you're already viewing your best movie of the year, or something that you've been referred to watch. So it is about not falling behind. A lot of businesses have actually closed down, and imagine yourself as a business that has the potential of closing down if you fall behind, and the opportunity for adaptation. Because take for instance Microsoft. The success Microsoft has actually experienced, or they've recorded in these few years, is very huge, and that's actually is from their ability to adapt to the space. Cloud computing is something that they took very seriously, and they probably are leading in that space at the moment. And also, even if they're not leading, they have actually gotten a lot of people to come into that space. They drew attention into it, and they emphasized it, and they supported it largely. And so these are some of the reasons why we as individuals must not actually stay behind. We must always keep staying ahead. And also, so based on the those that actually are influencing this industry evolution. And the first is the emerging technology. And this should guide you to why you actually have to learn all of those things Mr. Johnny had mentioned initially. So there is this emerging technology that comes to play. So if emerging technologies are available, then there is a need to learn how to match up with it. So the key drivers of this, first is the emerging technology, the second is the global trend, and the third is the economy and geopolitical influence. So, you put, there are a lot of things that will come to play as a result of the global trend. One of the global trends that is very much celebrated in our days now is the remote work. And by the time remote work, it has actually introduced a lot of work. So you start looking at what, when people do information systems, information audit, they have to then build some level of work in order to track people who are working from home, in order to track the exposure of, at the point in time, and talking about cybersecurity, at a point in time, everybody is in a location possibly connected to a very safe network. But now people are working from home, connected to different network, and you never can tell what exposure could come as a result of that. So this global trend introduces a lot of risk, and then there will be a risk management. And if risk management needs to come in place, there are people that will actually take advantage of that, and they start working therein. And also economic and geopolitical influences. This is something that could actually make a difference in how we do things now and how we do do things in the near future. All right. So the challenges of keeping up. So these are some of the things people get faced with, and I believe some people on the call are also facing this. Those challenging of keeping up. You talk about the skill gap. So there is always that gap because of the evolution. You were not prepared for it. It just come upon us. Some things came upon us that we had to just learn upon deployment. So like cloud computing and cybersecurity, for instance, they are in-demand skills, but there is a need to actually learn them. And maybe cybersecurity would not have been at this point if the global acceptance of remote working and and cloud computing had actually not been embraced. As a result of us embracing cloud computing, then there will be a need for us to be safe and to be more secured in our transaction. Now, that gap will be there. And that gap leaves you with the opportunity to actually develop. And the overwhelming case. So all of this that I'm saying is actually how you can actually explore what is available by getting ahead of the curve and then being one of the people that will benefit of what is to come. Now, professionals feel overwhelmed by the need to constantly update their skills and knowledge, and that is the fact. And what am I saying as a data evangelist that I sometimes call myself is to not be part of those that will be caught in this web. Now, there is that demand to always, continual improvement is something that we preach. And, you must always be ahead. You must always get to know. When you know A today, you must progress to knowing B and C and D and like that. So the challenge of not getting overwhelmed will always be there. And that is the raw truth. You definitely will at some point feel overwhelmed. But the point that is being made and that will always be emphasized is you continuing regardless. Because if you stop at the point where you are, and I share a very quick story, and it won't be very long. So it was a discussion that we were having, and it was in the engineering field that this happened, and talking about emerging technology and how people should actually get to it, and have yourself ready for what is to come or what is happening. So this man is a senior engineer, and he's used to technical drawing paper, board, having your T-square, all of your gadgets, have sketch out a very good drawing. And the introduction of the cards like AutoCAD and other design software. And this man said he possibly won't be able to go into that if this way is what we end his career, is ready for that. But for him to start learning how to actually maneuver things on the system, he possibly won't want to go into that. He said it, and I think that was the end of his career. Well, he was old, he was getting out of the system already. But if he had actually matched up with that, he could turn into a consultant, and he gets better things after even retirement. But the point here is it could be very overwhelming. It sometimes will make you become like you don't know what you're doing. Imagine a professional who has been in the business for over 15 years, having to learn the rudiment of a new development. So it could sometimes be overwhelming, it could be challenging sometimes, and you possibly won't have sufficient information at the point. And the information also will be evolving. And that is what I want you to understand, that some things you just want to get all the information about at the same time. Those information possibly are not even available. And just like Mr. Johnny said the other time, you possibly might be one of those that will build the community. Yeah, there are some languages, there are some tools that comes on, and people are not even explored it yet. So by the time you join the exploration of that particular tool, you possibly could be one of those that will now be guiding others. And it comes with a lot of benefit. So, and also the need for adaptability. And this is a saying of Vivek Wagdwa, which says the most important skills of the future will be the ability to learn and adapt. So one of the things we must embrace in this is adaptability. And adaptability, not just going with the wind or going with the tide, is actually how to adapt what you know to what has come. A very good example is adapting your knowledge in Excel, Microsoft Excel, to to the margin technology in visualization. For example, Power BI. So, the way you were able to manipulate things in Excel, adapt it. So whenever you learn a skill, learn adaptability with it. And don't just stop at just learning a skill without ensuring that you are actually positioning your mind. How can I adapt this to other things? How can I get this into other space? How can I transform this into some other things? And I believe that will help us a big deal. And so um, the core of this, so the core challenges is so and that cannot be overemphasized. Continuous learning. So subscribe to platforms. Several platforms could actually help you to get this on and going. So subscribe to learning platforms like Coursera. And I won't be saying this just because this was brought by Tech Factory. And I want to tell you, Tech Factory has actually put up several trainings together for people to grow this year. And well, it is dependent on people to actually take these opportunities very seriously. I believe the class will be starting around February 3rd. So it is important that we subscribe to this because continuous learning cannot be emphasized. Even if you're doing well in your current space, if you're doing well in your current space, I still believe there is a need to learn a thing or two in that space. Because, even the tool you're using, I can be very sure that you don't know everything about it. I remember going for an interview and, sometimes back, and this CEO was asking me, okay, on the scale of 1 to 5, rate yourself in Excel. And I rated myself 4. He said 4. Do you mean 4 in Excel? I said, I know so well how to use Excel and I don't just use, I also trade. So it was like, wow, I've never seen anybody rate himself 4. So let us see how well you can go. So what I said, and why I actually was saying this is that even if I had rated myself 4 in Excel, in Microsoft Excel, I still have that 1 to go. Okay, I say, and that 1 could make the difference. That 1 could make the difference. So why not? Complacency should not set in at any point on this journey, because that is one of the things that could easily lead to us not being left behind. One of the core strategies for staying ahead is continuous learning, and I can just continue to say this, and we end. Continuous learning, continuous learning, continuous learning, continuous learning, continuous learning. I think if I say it more, maybe it will sing. So the idea of, now I can write some 2 lines on Jupyter Notebook. I can write some 2 lines on this. I can print hello world. And it is good. Be happy that you can actually print hello world. Be happy that you can actually build a model. Be happy that you can train and test a model. But be happier that you are learning other realities that are actually unfolding even as you continue in the journey. And one other thing that helps, even if you're too busy, because some people give the excuse of being busy, and they say, I have a lot of workload to do. Why not try networking and mentorship? So it is very important that even though you give yourself to continuous learning, networking is something that you must embrace. we must embrace networking. Embrace networking like never before. Leverage, connections on LinkedIn. I advise people, uh, as much as LinkedIn is a very wide field, a lot of people are there, a lot of content has been dropped there every day. You can still make it a very small village for yourself. And what that means is that you can actually look at people within your niche. You can look at people that you love to collaborate with, and you establish connections with them. And did you know, because of this that I always say, no matter who the person is, I don't even check. Sometimes LinkedIn will have to caution me that you've not even checked who this person is and you've accepted their connection. Did you know I do that by default to say, let's always encourage networking. Okay, encourage networking. And the part of mentorship is very important. This person had actually gone all the way. Just like Johnny now. So if I need anything in website development, web development, and I need to reach out to anybody, I will reach out to Mr. John because, like you said, he's been there for close to 13 years, if not more now. You see, you need somebody who had actually, gone through the journey, who now understand all, he paid for it. He was talking about blood and sweat the other time. He had paid for it, sleepless nights. Why wouldn't I want to leverage such and profit from his sweat of the past? Yes, he has done all those nights of coding. He has gone sometimes without food, forgetting that he has not eaten. Why wouldn't I want to leverage that and come into a mentorship program with him? And it's a fast track. And I believe people should understand that mentorship is a fast track as well as networking, because you possibly a collaboration is the new competitive, so they say in this century, and we must embrace it. All right, adaptability and resilience. So if there's something I will talk about that is always the case, is the tendency of wanting to give up. You've been doing it and you possibly maybe not getting the right result you intend. When I was coming into the tech space, and going to learn to becoming a data scientist, it was a 1 year course I took from South Africa, and through explore data science, and it was very tedious, very, very tedious. And I have my workload to do, and I was doing at the same time a full-time course. And if you're not resilient, if you're not able to push through, you possibly will fall through. And that is one of the things COVID taught us. A lot of disruption came as a result of COVID, but apart from those disruptions, it taught us to be resilient. We never knew we could be shut in for so long, and we got shut in for so long. And may the souls of those who went by rest in peace. But we learned something. We learned to be very resilient as a result of it, and that should go into our career thought that it possibly will not happen, but we should be sure that slow and steady, they say, wins the race. And there's something I opened the year with, and it's very funny. I look at the goal I set for the year, and I felt it was too big. And that's the raw truth. It was too big a goal. And I felt, how will I achieve this? And the thought that came to my mind is just do the beat for today. Just do the beat for today. Just do the beat for today. So, and that is a strategy I advocate for, and say to everyone, just do the beat for today. Hello word. Print hello word and laugh at, enjoy printing just hello word. Enjoy printing just hello word. And then go on to printing the next thing, then go on to joining tables, then go on to doing some other transformations, then go on to, but make sure you're not just overwhelmed by when will I be able to publish on Cargo? When will I be able to win an hackathon? When will I be able? I mean, they are good things to look onto, but let that be the motivation and not what will cut you off. Because, oh, can I ever get to this point? Can I ever come to this point? It could actually drain you of the ability to progress. So adaptability and resilience is a very good one for the journey. And tech literacy, okay? I mean, even in non-tech roles, okay, we should always try and infuse our tech literacy. And the future of work actually is that you are able to infuse tech to everything that exists. Because if it does not, it, I mean, I don't know why you will be doing anything and you will not be able to infuse tech into it. And those are some of the things that comes about that brings those satisfaction, early satisfaction in people. And I've used that and it has helped me and it is still helping me. So if I should learn one thing, I will infuse it to everything I'm doing. So I serve as the secretary of a church, and I got some records, and the next thing I was thinking about is how to plot a graph with those to see the trend. Infuse tech. I mean, church secretary is just. I mean, you could take it as, oh, let's just announce the program for the week, things that people, I mean, future program, things that will be coming up. But I was thinking about where can I get number in this role and then infuse some things to it. And before you know it, we already have dashboards to tell, okay, what is the attendance of the church like? Oh, we have things to say. What can we do? I mean, infuse tech into everything. It is not a tech role. It is a non-tech role. I mean, church secretary. Okay. So understand the basics and then infuse it everywhere. All right. So building a competitive edge, and I think all of those I would mention, but I would just emphasize that even as you learn, as you collaborate, as you network, as you get a mentor, ensure interdisciplinary skills. You know, but by the time you get into marketing space and you are able to combine data analytics to it makes your life more easier. Somebody will say marketing is about selling things out, but you can actually use your value. I mean, you can actually use data to drive those things that you want to sell. I mean, telling somebody that this is the top selling item, we ask you also. But if you are able to drive it home, you are able to combine everything, data analytics with whatsoever you're doing. And, I mean, not to promote anybody, but some of the journalists we love are people who are able to drive their points with empirical data. And why do we love them? And we believe them because they were able to infuse data into what they're saying. And apart from somebody who just come in and say things, you just make some points without anything that could actually back it up, compared to somebody that has a data set that could back it up, or is citing a percentage that was quoted in a report. You celebrate such. So there is a way to actually work in an interdisciplinary way, and this I had always embraced. And I mentioned initially that I was working on my PhD research. So I work as a mathematical modeler, and I model infectious diseases. So, and imagine using mathematics to model infectious diseases. So now I had to get into the clinical, I had to get into epidemiology, and then understand what the space is and how I can use mathematics as a tool to actually solve that problem. So it is something that we must imbibe, we must get into the space of becoming, I mean, we must acquire interdisciplinary skills and we must run by it. So soft skills. Now, some people will come into this space and will continue to code all their life. We continue to be the guy who does all of those things, but will not be seen because he has not infused some some soft skills into it. I mean, as little as communication. Now you have done a report. Now you have developed a web app. Now it's time to sell it to the people that will buy it. So while I was taking my data science course, we never understood what they were driving at in that particular school when they said it is must that everybody subscribe to Thrive. So we call it Thrive. So Thrive is actually a program that was actually designed to run alongside the data science course. And what Thrive was all about is to train the soft skill. So you cannot, because I'm a tech guy, I only thrive in coding. I mean, you're doing a disservice to yourself, and you must thrive as well in those soft skills. So leadership. So you must be able to get a team together. You must be able to communicate effectively. You must be able to set goals. You must be able to, I mean, organize things. As little as organizing things is, I mean, kudos to Mr. Lawrence for bringing this up and organizing this. Some people will not be able to do this. Is it because they don't know how to code? No. Is it because they don't know how to analyze? No. Is it because they don't know how to manipulate data? No. It's because the soft skill is not there. And you wonder, will there be, will there ever be growth in this space? There is growth for people who are able to infuse their skills and are able to apply it in interdisciplinary roles, and also they are able to infuse the soft skill into it. And then cement your knowledge, demonstrate that you know. Yeah, I think that is the best way to put it. Demonstrate that you know. Get certified. One of the ways to demonstrate that you know is actually to get certified. Get into, how do you demonstrate that you are computing inclined if you don't have anything to do with AWS, or you have anything to do with Microsoft Azure or some other certification? So get certified. Look for that certificate that can actually attest to your skill. It is not about learning. And, people say we can learn everywhere. Yes, you can learn everywhere, and I support that, but get certified. All right. So, I think, and this is not me just advertising TalentsFactory to you, but it's something I will be glad to do. But I looked through the offers that was sent out for the class that will be starting in February. And one of the things that comes with it is, I think I saw an icon at the top that says get certified. And that settles it for me, because it is not sufficient to learn. It is not sufficient to know. It is more important to get certified. Okay. All right. And the tools and results, there are several tools. I'd mentioned Tech Factory. We all know Coursera. We know the X, and we know the Audacity, and quite some other platforms. And also, Mr. Johnny mentioned about community the other time, be part of a community. So you get a lot of tools and resources there. Some of them are just there for your getting. So ensure that you subscribe to a particular community and you be a part of it. And before you know it, you, from just being a peer, you can migrate to becoming an expert in that community. And, read books. Not just tech books, but books that could actually help you. Like I said the other time, you need your soft skills to be developed. And this deep work by Carl and is something that we should all read if you're here to read it. And, you can listen to several podcasts like that of the Surge podcast and some other ones that could be of very importance to you. Look for those. And you can, those times that you just use to discuss people, let me put it that way. Use them to read something or maybe listen to something. All right. So, and case study now. Okay, so We're talking about staying ahead. We're talking about being resilient. And the growth of Tesla is not debatable. And the way they have actually led the innovative space, I mean, say, especially in the EV market. So, and also, I'd mentioned earlier of people who can actually infuse things into their role. Imagine a journalist who transitioned to a data analyst role by embracing new skill. So it is not too late for you to transition. You could say, oh, this is me, I'm a veteran this, I'm a veteran that. I mean, veteran, yes, good, we respect um your impact over the years, but it is not too late to get into something. And a very good testimony that was shared today, and I love and I embrace so much, was that which Mr. Johnny shared earlier of how he had left data science for so much time, and he had always put up with web development, which he does so well, and now he just took up the challenge of data science, and is doing pretty well at that. So it is not too late to take up that challenge. And I just need to put this out to you that if you don't take that challenge, I mean, other people will take it. And by the way, it is just a matter of time, and time will tell who had made the right decision or not. But you can't go wrong with choosing any tech skill. And I say that with all sense of responsibility. You can't go wrong with any. And but I mean, ensuring that you evolve with the space, you cannot go wrong. All right. So and these are some actionable points, and I think I'll just be ending it at this point. So I don't want to end without setting out these actionable steps that actually follow. Identify trends. So Miss Johnny had actually helped us to pull out things that are happening around us, and as it regards the skills that we can actually get during this in this year 2025. So you also can actually track the trend of those courses, of those two, of those spaces, so as to understand. I mean, Google Trend is something that could actually help us, and or the Gartner report. So just go online, check for things that are happening, and you will know. I don't want to start talking about how um, blockchain technology, how I won't say I missed out, because when you think you missed out of something, it might rob you of getting into it because you think, oh, it has gone and you can never catch up. But this is the time to catch up. So identify the trend, know what is happening, and have your personal development plan. And some people don't have it. And don't be ashamed that you don't have one. But I'm telling you, it's good that you have one. Okay? And you don't have to need it before you have it. So if you need it before you have it, it might be too late. So have a plan. Where do you want to be? We make New Year resolution, we pray, we talk about where we want to be, we talk about what we want God to do for us, but we forget to actually plan a development plan. We forget to put those things that we want to achieve. You just want to buy cars, just want to build houses. You just want to be the one that will be invited for all conferences, seminars. How do you build yourself to becoming that person that everybody will want to have on their space? So plan, and set goals. Set smart goals. They should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your growth, and it should be time bound. Don't just say, I will always have time to do it. There is no time to do anything. You must just create that time for it. I I was actually going to get into something else, and I'd already gotten somebody who I will be accountable to, and I believe he will be able to hold my hand or to get an accountability partner, somebody who can help you. I mean, we were talking the other time about getting a mentor. It is very important if you need one, but know what you want to be, know where you want to be, know, and then start working at how to get there. You possibly might not know how to get there. Sometimes we just know what we want, we don't know how to become. And that is why you need to then, while you're setting your goals, it will help you to say, okay, what direction should I go? And that is where mentorship and space like this comes in place. And just like Mr. Johnny has actually helped with, he has mentioned a lot of things that you can leverage. And if you need more information on this, I believe the Tech Factory will always be open. And because I think that is what the factory is built for, to mentor people and to mold men. So at this point, I would just say it's quite a great opportunity to be speaking to everyone, and I did not take this opportunity for granted. And I want that the result of this actionable step will be that you will develop something, a plan for yourself, and you will set a goal on how to achieve it, and you will achieve it. So that by the time next time we'll be meeting, maybe virtually or physically, we'll be sharing how your success has been and how the journey has also been. So at this point, I'll just pass it over to Mr. Lawrence. I think I've stayed too long on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Lawal. That was a wonderful session. Yeah, we appreciate you taking to have that session with us. It was a powerful one, and we learned a lot. Yeah, we learned a lot how to keep up with the trend, how to keep developing ourselves, how to ensure that we stay relevant in the tech industry. Because just like we have pointed out already, the tech industry keep evolving, things keep changing, things keep advancing. The way computers, the speed of computers, for instance, we can say that the speed of computers have changed. Back then, computers were not this fast as they are today, right? But computers are getting faster. We have models that are developed or made to be very fast. And these are personal systems. Those days, if you want to have like a fast computer, you have to get those systems were not even movable. They were stationed in one place. These were supercomputers. Yeah, but we can see that a lot of things are changing in the tech industry. And for us as well, if you want to stay relevant, you have to keep up with these trends. And Mr. John Lawa has given us a lot of tips that will help us to stay relevant. We help us to keep developing ourselves, keep up with the trends, and not fizzle out of whatever is happening in the tech industry. We are going to have a question and answer session next. So I'll be expecting your questions in the chat box. So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat box. So I want to quickly highlight some of the points that Mr. John Lawa gave us. So while that is happening, you can type your questions in the chat box so that we take them after that. All right, so some of the points I would like to highlight. One says that one mentioned continuous learning. For us to keep up with the trend, for us to remain relevant in the tech industry, we must keep learning. Learning is something we cannot stop doing as long as we are in the tech industry or the tech ecosystem. So when you are a techie, you have to keep learning because in 5 years back, a lot of things have changed, right? New things have been added. There are better ways of writing code. There are better ways of doing things. There are better ways of designing your database. There are principles that have come up. There are patterns that have come up. And imagine if you stopped learning 5 years ago. If you are working in any company today, you'll be using outdated methods of doing things. So it's important that we keep learning. Learning is one thing that we cannot stop doing. Every year, you must have a budget, you must have a plan for learning, for upskilling, whether you are a beginner or an expert in the field. You can't stop learning because you're an expert. right? Because just like we have established over and over, new things keep coming up. We have seen new things, new fields, new skills even that have evolved, that have come up in the tech industry. One we mentioned, which is prompt engineering. Today we have low code and no code platforms. This is something that was not there before, but some persons saw need for it and they brought it up. Right, so things keep coming up, and it's important that continuous learning is something we must keep doing. And then he also mentioned networking, which is something that is very important. Networking does two major things for you that I will mention. It connects you with people who can connect you with jobs. It could be jobs at companies or even gigs, working on some projects that could bring some income, some revenue, generate some revenue to you. Uh, and networking also helps you to develop yourself more. Imagine having a circle of friends that are experts, and maybe you are an intermediate in the tech industry. It's going to challenge you to want to become like them or to be like them, to be at the same level they are, so that if you guys meet and you are having discussion, you are not just going to be a listener. You want to also be able to talk, right? So that will challenge you to be able to learn. So networking, having a circle of friends that are ahead, some that are at your level, and some that you can mentor as well. A um, mentorship also helps you to learn. In as much as you are teaching someone, you will also learn from that experience. There are some things that by teaching someone, you never forget those things because you were able to teach someone, you were able to explain some certain concept to someone you don't get to forget. So in networking, these three stages or three categories of persons, there are persons you must have in your circle. Those you get to mentor, those who are at the same level with you, and those who are ahead of you that you can learn from, right? Those who challenge you to do more. And then he spoke about resilience as well. There are a lot of challenges in the tech industry. One of the challenges, especially at the early stage, um, is revenue, or let's say getting funds. Now, if you are coming from maybe a poor background, it may not be easy for you to get a high-paying job immediately you get into tech. These are some of the challenges you will face. Some other challenges we will say device. If you are not able to buy very good computers, you may face that challenge as well. Internet in the tech space, most things are done online. If you want to take a course, you need data to be able to take the course. You will need good internet as well, because if you're watching a video and your bandwidth is not good, you will struggle through the course, right? So you need a good internet connectivity, you need good devices, a laptop, a mobile device. Imagine you are a mobile app developer and you don't have a good device to test your applications. It's going to be a lot challenging, but all of this is not supposed to stop you from learning, from pushing. Maybe we have another session where we have like developers share their experience with us, how they started and the entire journey. Most times it's not easy. You came from a poor background, you don't have most of those things available, right? But as you keep going, you keep using what is available, you discover that it keeps getting better. I mentioned this the other time. Yeah, so it keep getting better. It's not something you stop because you have challenges. So resilience is something that is very important and is something we should practice in the tech industry. We have tech literacy. You must not be an illiterate if you are in the tech industry. You shouldn't be an illiterate of anything, even if it's not in your field. For instance, you are not an AI engineer, and doesn't mean you shouldn't know concepts about AI. It's very important, right? So being in the tech industry, you should be versatile. You should be able to at least talk about something you don't even do. I'm not a cloud engineer, doesn't mean I shouldn't know about cloud engineering. I should be able to explain the concept of cloud engineering to people. So you should be able to seek knowledge, get to know different concepts, even things that you don't maybe do on a daily basis, right? So it's important that we get to learn all those things. Let me check if we have questions. Okay, so we have questions here already. The first question says, how can one juggle more than one skill in tech? This is a very important question. How can one juggle more than one skill in tech? Johnny, do you want to answer that question for us?
Still on? Well, Mr. Lawrence, I don't know what's the question, but that's actually a very, very good question. It's all about balance. Life is all about creating balance. How do you juggle waking up, sleeping, eating food, going to school, going to church, amongst other things, right? It's
Sorry,
always
a bit
all about.
that spotlight you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your video is not on.
Oh, okay. I need to unback my lightings. I actually off them. That's
Okay.
power. So I don't know if is it necessary that I unback my light? Because
Just go on. We can
all
hear
right.
you.
Oh, sorry about that. Lighting is quite. All right. So it's just all about finding the right balance and finding hierarchy. If it is, you having a skill already and then you want to add one to it, then it is always about not starving your core skill, but still yet find way of creating time to learn that new skill you want to add to your existing skill. And once you've attained mastery in that particular new skill that you're learning, try and create a form of work balance for both of them. That it's you are always going to figure it out. That's one thing. Just don't limit yourself. Just start it, and I can bet you that you are always going to always figure out how to create that balance. It will come to you naturally.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I hear him talk a lot about creating a balance. That's very important. Um, Now when you of course, having multiple skills in tech is something that is very possible, right? So we are not saying that you can only have one skill. Having multiple skill is very possible, and a lot of persons have multiple skill. For me, for instance, uh, I have multiple skills in tech. I can do backend engineering. I can do front end. I can do mobile app development. I can do a bit of deployment as well, right? And I can do blockchain, and I'm also trying to get my hands into AI. So getting multiple skills is something that is very possible. A lot of persons have done it, and you can do it. So how you can go about it? My advice is to do one thing at a time, especially when you are learning. For instance, you are just trying to learn, let's say, front-end engineering, and maybe you are just getting into tech, right? And you are learning front-end engineering. And at the same time, you started learning mobile app engineering as well, mobile app development. It's going to be very difficult for you because you don't know most of the concepts in software development. Now, the thing about software development is once you get to understand the principles and the concepts in software development, you are able to apply those concepts in other aspects. Now, in software development, we have different aspects. We have front end, we have back end, we have mobile app, and so on. All right. So when you are able to understand the principles, the concepts, the patterns, and so on, the best practices, those things are constant, mostly. Most of them are constant across board. So if you're very good, uh, you can easily learn any other skill. But at the level where you are just learning, let's say front-end engineering, and you want to immediately start learning back-end on mobile app, it's going to be very difficult for you to make good progress because you are combining too many things. So my advice would be focus on one thing and have like a roadmap. right? So when you learn to this stage and you have done some project, let's say you have done some project in, let's assume that you're learning front-end engineering. That's the first thing you're learning. And you can give yourself a target. Okay, I want to do this for like a year or 2 years. And you have worked on certain projects. You know that you are comfortable in writing front-end application. At that point, you are not just learning, you can actually do the job very well. That's when I would advise that you can start learning another skill as well, right? So at that point, you should be able to learn another skill, and it will actually be a lot easier for you, especially if it's within the same maybe scope, like software engineering. So if you are a front-end engineer and you want to learn back-end, if you are very good at the front end, you can actually learn back-end skills as well efficiently. So, but learning multiple at the same time is not something I would advise, because it's going to be very difficult for you to move fast and also to make very good progress. So that is it. Then the second question says, what strategy can be used to overcome the overwhelming feeling of learning a new skill as a techie? What strategy can be used to overcome the overwhelming feeling of learning a new skill as a techie? Mr. John Lawa, I don't know if you are there. If you can answer that question for us.
Yes, I'm there. So thank you for the question. I mean, great one. So, what strategy can be used to overcome the um, overwhelming force that comes with the overwhelmingness that comes with learning a new skill? I think I got that right.
Yeah.
So, well, the first strategy is actually to start. So that's the first strategy, start. And when you start, then resilience come in and pace yourself. Okay, so now I have a new baby, and he's about 7 months old, and I was eating because he did exclusive for 6 months, and at the point after 6 months we started introducing him to food, and I was eating something, and I think it was orange, and I gave him, after he had taken the water, I dropped some of the orange on his mouth, and it was too much for him, and he was almost choking. And the mom quickly took him from me, that, okay, my son. So why am I saying all of this is to say, when he was taking just the juice of the orange, he was okay. But when he got into the part where he has to take the fleshy part of the orange, he wants to choke. So enjoy the juice. So first enjoy the juice, so that by the time you are now able, by the time you've enjoyed this juice to a point, you'll now be ready to take the solid part. And at the point where you're now taking the solid part, you can then, I believe you would have built the sufficient shock absorbers that will take you through that phase. So you will definitely at some point want to feel overwhelmed, but pace yourself. Don't you can't become in a day. Yes, a nation can be born in a day, but there is a progression for it. And it could even happen to you that a nation will be born in a day in your own case. But a lot of work could have gone to it behind the scene. So don't be ashamed, like I mentioned earlier, that you don't just want to become on a day, and pace yourself. Don't act, yes, as much as urgency is required, because what we are talking about, before you know it, that which you are learning, another thing could actually come over it. Urgency is required, but pace yourself. It's a very good strategy that has worked, and go from known to unknown and get familiar with the known to the point that you can actually progress. So get familiar with the stage, then progress to the next, but don't shock yourself with a lot of information. It can add to the burden of overwhelmingness. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. One thing we must not forget from what he said is don't choke yourself. That's very important. The example he gave about the baby is just perfect. When you have a baby and you have been breastfeeding the baby for some time and you want to start giving the baby solid food, you don't give the baby the amount of food a 3-year-old child will eat, right? So you give the baby just little. So that's the introduction. So the same thing we can apply here is for someone that is trying to learn. You are just trying to learn a skill in tech, and then you want to become like someone that have been in the tech industry for 10 years. Now that is not achievable. That's not realistic. So I will say that for you not to become overwhelmed, you should set realistic goals. You should set realistic goals. Don't set goals that are unrealistic, because you will end up overworking yourself, and maybe you may give up because it may become too much. You may feel you burn out, right? So you experience a burnout and you may not be able to continue. So it's important that you take things bit by bit. Don't overstretch yourself. We are not saying you should become lazy, and be consistent, but don't overstretch yourself. That's just it. So if you know that, let's say you can learn 3 hours or 2 hours or even 1 hour a day. Just be consistent with that. Don't say because this person is earning 500 or let's say $5,000 a month, and you want to become like him in 6 months. It's not possible. Someone that has been there in 10 years, he has been developing himself for 10 years, and then you want to become like him overnight. It doesn't work like that. We're not saying it's also going to take you 10 years because it took him 10 years. Of course, yours could be shorter depending on your commitment and your dedication to learning, right? So if you did it 10 years, if you are very committed, you can actually do it maybe in 5 years' time. But don't 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 overwork yourself. So just take things bit by bit. Just like a baby that is just beginning to eat, you don't choke the person with food. So that is it. I hope we answered that question. Then the next one says, for someone who is a novice in the tech industry and would love to learn the skills, what is a person's fate? All right. So for this, I will say, I don't know the context to which the person is asking the question, but I will say that you still have an opportunity. So there's this thing many persons feel maybe it's too late, but I would say it's not late. Getting into tech is never late. You can never be late in the tech industry, because we have mentioned that the tech keep evolving, right? New things are coming up. A lot of persons today say AI is going to replace techies, which is not true, right? It's not true because AI cannot, for instance, let's look at ChatGPT. ChatGPT has made a lot of things easier. Of course, as a software engineer, I use it a lot. It has made work and writing of code a lot easier for me. But ChatGPT cannot be hired to do the work I do. It cannot, at least not now. So there's no way AI is going to replace software engineers. It's not going to replace techies. So there's still very much opportunities for anyone trying to get into tech. There's an opportunity for you. That's what I would say. So there's an opportunity for you. You just have to come in, get started. Don't allow anything to discourage you, make you feel like it's too late, you didn't start on time. Maybe you've been wanting to get into tech maybe 5 years ago, and one thing or the other stopped you from starting. But if you keep giving excuses, maybe next year it will make it 6 years. You will say, "6 years ago, I wanted to get into tech." But if you start today, next year you'll be 1 year into tech, right? So you shouldn't give excuses for not getting started. Nothing should be an excuse, nothing should be a blocker. All you need to do is just get started. And that is why TalentsFactory is here. That's why we created TalentsFactory, to help people who want to get into tech and people who are already into tech and they want to do better, they want to advance, they want to become experts, and they want to keep learning. That's why we're here, right? To put you through, to help you. We have experts on the team who are ready to help you to learn and to advance your skills in the tech industry. Yeah, so I will say that there's very much opportunity for you to dive into tech and get the most out of it, right? Okay, so that's the last question we have here. I don't know if anyone has any more question to ask, but on my list here, that's the last question. All right, so if there's no other question, I think we'll be ending it here today. Thank you so much, everyone that joined us today for today's edition of the Talent Talk. I believe that you learned a lot from our discussion today. We will still be having more events like this. Of course, our Talent Talk event is bi-weekly, which means that the next one will be happening in the next 2 weeks. And to help us learn tech skills, TalentsFactory has put together a free tech boot camp, which is going to run for 2 weeks, starting on the 3rd of February. Starting on the 3rd of February, and it's going to run for 2 weeks, right? So registration is ongoing and it will be closing once we hit the capacity we can take. So we encourage you to register on time. You can head to our website, talentsfactory.io, and you can click on the bootcamp option, and you'll be able to register. So if you have not registered and you want to get into tech, you want to learn a skill, or maybe you're already into tech and you want to switch career, maybe you're a front-end engineer, you want to learn back-end engineering, this is a perfect opportunity for you to start. So we have a lot of courses you can take, and they are free, right? So for 2 weeks, we are going to be having the boot camp, and we are going to be learning a lot of skills. So if you haven't registered, ensure that you register, because like I said, once we hit the capacity we'll be closing the registration. And also, application is ongoing for admission. So if you want to learn a tech skill, we have different programs. We have the Talent Primer, which runs for 3 months. You can apply. We have the diploma, which is for 1 year. So for total beginners, we have a program that takes you from the beginner stage to becoming becoming comfortable, right, in your field, whatever you have chosen. For instance, if you choose backend engineering, we take you from the beginner stage to where you can comfortably develop backend systems, right? And then we also have a program for those who are already into tech, but they want to advance their career. We call it accelerator. So you can also enroll so that you can go from whatever stage you are to become an expert. So yeah, these are the programs we have, and the portal is open for application. You can apply to get to learn for any of these programs. So we have mentioned 3 programs, so you can choose anyone that applies to you. We said the Talent Primer is for 3 months and is for total beginners. We have the diploma, which is for 1 year. And for the diploma, it gives you ability to also work on real life application, right? So it's for 1 year. And then we have Career Accelerator for those who are already in the tech industry and they want to advance. We also have internship and mentorship for those who have some level of experience and want to work on real life projects. All right, so thanks everyone for joining in. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please ensure you do, because like I mentioned, we are going to be having more events like this here. And when you subscribe to our channel, whenever we go live with this program, you'll get a notification to join. So if you don't want to miss out, ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, we'll be putting some educational content or educative content on this on our channel. So subscribing enables you to be able to get notifications whenever we upload any content. Yeah, so thanks once again for joining. That will be it for today. Bye.